Most people don't realize that their beliefs can get in the way of their own success. And I don't mean just business success where they can make a lot of money, but also just opening up to new ways of being where they can feel more worthy, more loved, and more accomplished in life. So what is this obstacle that can get in the way? Typically, it is scarcity mindset. Living in scarcity means that you have a limit to what you believe is available to you. It's a cap you've placed on yourself that also determines how much love and joy you can receive too. So it's worthwhile to investigate whether you have scarcity mindset, what place in your life it shows up, so you can change these beliefs, open up to more abundance, so you can bring in all that you desire in your life. This can be a process that takes years though. I know, because I have been dealing with scarcity mindset for my entire adult life. But of course it is a lot better now that I have gone through a lot of personal development. And thinking about it now, it really comes down to these 3 main steps that really helped me make a shift. I am super eager to share these 3 steps with you today, but before we get into that, I want to give you a warm welcome back to my channel. And if we are meeting for the first time, I'm Brandy of Falcon Healing Arts, where I help women heal on all levels of their being. And I do this through many of my holistic health modalities, as well as spiritual guidance. And I find that the majority of people that I work with have some degree of scarcity mindset, but they're very open to looking at it. And I consider this part of the shadow work we do together, where we are actively looking at places where they may not be showing up fully. We bring that to light, and because they are paying me for this service, they are extremely open to what they see and to actively change these beliefs. I think working with scarcity mindset is definitely harder for people who are not already doing personal development work. To hear that you have scarcity mindset from someone else might make you feel very judged and maybe even insecure. But this is what needs to happen first before you can start to do this inner work. So it's my hope that this video will bring any of these beliefs to light for you. And if you need any help further on down the road, I am always available to help you go deeper. Even if you just work with this first step, you are going to be getting so far. And this is to honestly investigate where scarcity mindset is showing up in your life and how you may be fueling it. Let's look at all these different areas in your life. But before we get into that, just remember that scarcity means that there is not enough. So how you may be showing up in these different areas may mean that you're feeling like you're not enough, or you don't have enough, that there is some limit to how much you can experience. Let's look at relationships first, and this is probably the most complex way that scarcity mindset can show up. So I'll just state a few examples, but you'll definitely need to contemplate this further and see how it's showing up in your life. So scarcity mindset can show up when we are first dating someone. If we have really high standards, we put a limit on what love looks like, about what the perfect relationship looks like. It feels like we're always waiting for the perfect person to come in. And so usually the people who do are not enough for us. It can be the other way around though, where we are always feeling that we are less than. And so we might settle for someone who is really easy to be with. Maybe they are head over heels for us, but we just don't have that passion. We don't share the same values. There is a big disconnect, but we're still willing to be with them because we feel that there is no one else out there who can love us as much. Maybe it's also waiting for the perfect partner who you can also co-parent with. I know I was certainly feeling this pressure when I was still dating in my late 20s and starting to think about children and dating all the wrong men. And thank God that is one of the reasons that I started going to therapy. And my therapist helped me work through the scarcity mindset that I had about finding the right partner. And no regrets that I am still with my husband. We have a functional relationship, a wonderful son. But I definitely needed to change my mindset in order to have this functional relationship. And then finally, if you're in a relationship that is not going well, this is one reason why people stay in abusive relationships, is that they feel that there's nothing else out there for them. And they can think of many excuses around this why they stay in the relationship too. But I feel like the main belief is usually that they don't believe there is anyone else out there who is compatible. So think on that, and now consider work. Do you find yourself in a job that is not suited well for you, but you're afraid to leave this job because maybe you're making a lot of money right now? Maybe this job feels really secure. Maybe you don't want to do any self-improvement to find a job that requires greater skill level. I know I was just talking to my friend about this, about how certain rules were set up in the workplace that require her husband to work from home. He's not allowed into the office. He's treated horribly by his boss and his staff, and yet he still will not leave because they're doing some work on their home, and he feels that he'd rather deal with this than to look for something that could be better. So this is perceived as being safe, even though it's not ideal. So it's this fear around it that's preventing him from seeking more. And now health. Scarcity mindset can show up as we're working with our holistic health in a form of hopelessness, that we don't want to make certain changes because we don't believe that we can really experience that change. Maybe you are interested in doing some type of self-improvement or caring for your body a certain way, making a lifestyle change, but you're not willing to invest the time or the money into this because you don't have a lot of faith in yourself in seeing it through. And scarcity can also show up just as a limiting belief if you're used to working with yourself in a certain way and you're not open to exploring other modalities. It just may feel very far out, and you don't believe that it can be any better than what you're experiencing now. Okay, finally, finances. And of course, this is where scarcity mindset shows up the most, because there is this overlap with scarcity and also poverty consciousness. This may show up as having difficulty making money. Maybe you make money but have a hard time keeping the money. And so there is this constant feeling of loss about not being able to hold on to it and not having enough. But that can also cause some dysfunction if you do start to make a lot of money, to then become more stingy about it and holding on to the money. It's all around the same belief of losing it, about not having enough. And that may even be hard to define. That's a great question if you're wondering if you have scarcity mindset around finances. How much money is enough? Can you answer that? At what point will you stop worrying about your retirement funds, about the amount of debt you have? What is that number that feels safe? And you can start to hone in on that, massage it a little, and see if it can change so it's not as strict and gives you more freedom to explore your beliefs around money. So I've already shared some ways that I have experienced scarcity mindset in the past. I would love to hear if you're willing to share. I know some of this is personal, but if you're willing to share where scarcity mindset is showing up for you, you can let me know in the comments below. Sometimes just speaking this out helps tremendously in helping you shift. So again, just doing step 1, exploring all that, is going to get you far. These next steps are a lot deeper, and this is where you're going to experience the biggest transformation because it is on a deeper spiritual level. So the second step is to explore your relationship with God, Source, Universe, whatever you call your higher power. Do you feel that there is this higher power that supports you, that leads you in your life, and who helps to bring in opportunities and helps provide you with abundance in your life? For many people, the answer is no, or they haven't really fostered that connection, so it's hard to answer. But I have found that this lack of spiritual connection is definitely linked to scarcity mindset. Quite often the person will feel that they have no control over their life, that things just happen to them. And so that can leave them feeling very disempowered and like they are not enough, like there's not enough they can do to stay ahead in life. So even the elements they control, they feel like they need to do it all themselves. This is one of the many reasons why establishing a strong spiritual connection is really important in the holistic healing sessions I offer, as well as my Pathway to Empowerment signature program. And it's typically the shamanic healing work that we do in addition to rewiring the brain and changing beliefs that helps to establish this connection and develop more trust. So once that you recognize and you really believe that you are co-creating with spirit, you can go deeper with this investigation. So praying, meditating, journaling on this relationship can help you feel into more abundance. What I personally have learned through this investigation is that Source gives me everything I want. I know, I firmly believe that Source, God, the universe, only gives us things that we can handle. So if we're not comfortable with having a lot of money and the responsibility that comes with that, we may be limiting ourselves to only receive and hold a certain amount, limiting our potential. And so Source supports you with that. It's like, okay, you want limits? I'll give you limits. It wants you to feel safe. So that's where we can push next. We can push on those limits, be mindful of what we're focusing on, be mindful of what we're asking for in life. Go deeper with it. And if there is something you are wanting more of, then we need to consciously open up to that, everything that's involved with it. So with around money, all the responsibility that comes with that too. We need to open up bigger, see it from a bigger perspective, and realizing that Source is supporting us where we are and where we're going. Step number 3 to shift out of scarcity mindset into more abundance is to focus on gratitude. And there's many ways that I've worked with gratitude in the past. I have some blog posts and even some meditations that can help you open up to that. But one of the tools I want to introduce you to right now to talk about gratitude is the Irish Spirit Wheel. So this is something I've been working with personally, and I'm just starting to bring it into my healing sessions with others because it really helps with this personal development piece. So this is an ancient Celtic method of self-inquiry that can help you diagnose where the healing needs to be, where you need to go in your life for treatment. And so it is the 4 directions, and there's certain aspects to each of these directions. There is north, south, east, west, and center. In the center is where we experience sovereignty, mastery, enlightenment. Of course, this is where most of us will want to be most of the time. It's where we feel whole and complete. In the north is where we have battle, where we go to challenge ourselves and others. The south is where we experience music, inspiration, where there's a greater connection to spirit. In the west is where we find wisdom, where we seek more guidance. And in the east is the seat of prosperity. And it's in the east where we need to do the work to feel into more gratitude in order to experience abundance. East is the direction we turn to focus on home life, to tend the land, to focus on family, and for being a more hospitable host to the community. And so it requires us to open our heart, which only like to be open to certain people and ideas. So it really pushes us in that regard to be hospitable to everyone. And then as you are doing so from a loving place and feeling into that gratitude, you're going to see how much you have in your life currently. So all that you have in your possession, all the people in your life, and all the experiences that led you to this present moment where you are doing this inner work. And after we've processed all the lessons we've learned in the East, this direction of prosperity, of gratitude, then we can come back to the center feeling whole, complete again. And this is where we experience the most abundance and joy. So there are definitely more steps, I'm sure, that will help you on this journey of moving from scarcity mindset to one of more abundance that might be more personal for you, because we all have a reason why this mindset set in, and so you might need certain steps to shift out of it. But I feel that these are the main 3 that we can all benefit from. If you have any questions about this, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you giving it a like, share it with a friend who can use this support, and consider subscribing to this channel, hitting the notification bell along the way so you don't miss any of my future videos. Much love and gratitude to you all.